Wider view for us, Elizabeth, and of course we've been talking about those feeder bands from Debby. In fact, the center of Tropical Storm Debby, it may be starting to weaken, or it is starting to weaken, but that's down in South Carolina. You get away from that though, and there's a lot going on in the atmosphere too, and you can see that feeder band. This is a loop over the past 8 hours. Look at how many tornado warnings pop up here on virtually that same band coming in. I tried to count and I lost count at about 15 to 20 of just kind of me glancing at this map for those current tornado warnings, or those looped tornado warnings, if you will. I'll put on where we sit currently right now, and keep in mind this does include a lot of flash flood warnings that I did take off just for a second to kind of get us a little bit less of a cluttered map, if you will. Where that band is though, if that continues to push its way off to the northwest right there, as the center also continues to move out, we may see more of these warnings getting closer to Raleigh, the Triangle, the central parts of our viewing area here as we go through today. But that's a look at where we sit right now, Elizabeth. A very busy morning. 1, 2, 3, 4 current tornado warnings showing up on our radar.
You have been at it for hours, since just after 2 o'clock. We have crews, 8 crews in 6 different counties right now. We've been on this since 4 a.m. on the air, covering what is going on. An unusual kind of, we keep getting these tornado warnings popping up. They spin up quickly.
One after another.
And then they drop back down. But they're all in that one line coming up, getting closer to Raleigh and the Triangle area.
Elizabeth was talking about a particular feeder band, a rain band that is especially sitting over Wilson County and Nash County, and all activating all those tornado warnings throughout the morning. And of course, we're monitoring that for you. We also have crews along our coast to keep an eye on conditions there. Let's check in with Kelsey Coffey, who's been at Wrightsville Beach this week. And Kelsey, you were saying that this morning you've been seeing the worst of Debby.
Renee, right now we're getting a break in the rain, which is pretty good because we had some heavy downpour that happened about an hour ago. And this is Johnny Mercer's Fishing Pier. So you're probably familiar with this area if you've been to Wrightsville Beach, and that's the sign there. So the wind is so strong, it took that sign there to the ground. It seems like the sign is made of a hard plastic, so that's probably why it shattered. We talked to someone who works at this store that's right beside it, Access 16. They say they're trying to figure out whether or not they'll be able to get in to go to work today. We'll also draw your attention to this. Look at all this sand here. The sand, actually just a couple of seconds ago, was coming through onto the street there. We'll also show you the high surf. There's only a few people that are out here. Let's pan over to see the surf now. As some people are out here, but Ocean Rescue is trying to get them away from the beaches. This is just really not a safe time to be out here. I've reached out to New Hanover County Emergency Management to find out if there's any damage in any other areas, but so far this is all we see. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live in Wrightsville Beach.
All right, thanks for that. And you see that wind whipping and blowing that sand straight in off of the coast, and that is directly the line that it's coming this way.
The big story of the morning from Tropical Storm Debby has been the tornado that touched down in Wilson County earlier this morning. Create a lot of damage there at Springfield Middle School, and that's where we find WRAL's Laura Levine. And Laura, just seeing the damage there from school. When school opens in a few weeks, they're going to have to find some other plans, certainly.
Renee, it really is unreal, and I just spoke with the neighbor who lives right next to the school, the one who's allowing us to park near his driveway. He told me that his daughter is actually the librarian here at this school, so of course she was a little heartbroken to see the damage, but she says that they will find another way to open school and they'll find a solution. But other than that, he told me that he and his wife had to take cover around 3 o'clock this morning. They took cover in their shower stall. He described his wife hearing the house and feeling the house shake. So just, if you could imagine, a very terrifying situation. I want to point your attention to this. We're seeing dozens, I counted at least 15 utility trucks make their way here on Wiggins Mill Road. And that's because, as I mentioned earlier, we are seeing some down power lines. But beyond the school, there's also several homes that are destroyed from this tornado. Now, if we pan the camera this way to the school, we were able to get some close shots, and we'll have that video for you in our next hit. But I could see a whiteboard with writing on it. I could see damaged desks. You can see the roof just pulled apart. Some of the structure here, I mean, just completely destroyed. It's really devastating to see all of the debris here in front of the school. So almost unrecognizable for a lot of people who live here. The man I spoke with, he said that, you know, he's lived here for a really long time. But the school here, a staple of this community, a lot of children go to this. They know so many people. It's a tight-knit community. So a lot of people know each other as well as the children children who attend this school. A lot is happening here. It remains to be a very fluid situation. The road is blocked off. Law enforcement continues to turn vehicles around. We're also seeing a lot of flooded roads in this area. We've seen crews also kind of walk and canvass to this home that you see right here where this truck is passing, assessing any damage here. It looks like they're okay. But we could also hear the generators pumping in this area. That's because they do not have power, and it's really unclear when power will be restored for the people who live here. We're going to keep you updated and hopefully have more of that interview from that neighbor I spoke with in our next hit. Laura Levine, WRAL News, live in Wilson County.
And 475 students go to Springfield Middle School. They're awaiting the start of a new school year, August 26th. But when you look at that damage, certainly there will have to be other plans made, or that start date might be in limbo.
Roof of the gymnasium or auditorium, it looked like the tallest part of that building partially ripped off. But across the street, the homes untouched. You know, hit or miss tornadoes are right there.
You can take it from here.
Certainly, it's something we've been keeping an eye on, all the surrounding counties, but that train keeps rolling through Wilson County. That's where it started this morning. It's where we've had several of those reports. That's where we have condensed some of our reporters in a few areas that suffered the most damage there.
Yeah, if you're just joining us here at 8:36, we have had 13 tornado warnings in our viewing area since 2:15 this morning, and we've had 3 confirmed tornadoes in the viewing area. The first in Wilson County, second in Edgecombe County, and then the third in Franklin County. We do know of extensive damage in Wilson County, and we're going to get to meteorologist Amy Wilmoth, who has been on the scene of a home, and we'll get to in just a moment, but we've been seeing her. There she is. Okay, Amy, what's the latest word from the FEMA and search teams there? They fear a man is trapped inside.
That is the fear. We did just speak to one of the members on the search crew, one of the members from the Memphis, Tennessee Urban Search and Rescue Team, and he just told us that it's going to take a while for this all to unfold. They have to shore up the house so that it's safe enough for them to start going into that first floor. He did say that the dog that they have with them, the canine that they have with them searching, did indicate in 2 different locations that perhaps somebody was inside. They only believe that one person is inside. That's what they've heard from neighbors. So he said this is going to take a while. They have to make it safe enough to even get in to do the search. That's really the latest that we have here from this collapsed home in Lucama in Wilson County. That's the latest that we have. We can send it back to you guys.
Folks who may be just joining us, as you look at that home on the right side of your screen there, that's the second story that is down, crushing the first story, and that search has been going on. All the neighbors around the area for hours now.
And as a timeline, we believe that tornado hit 2:50 in the morning, and since daylight has come up with those rescue teams arriving there on scene on Lloyd Road in the community of Lucama in Wilson County. We'll continue to keep an eye on that search and rescue there, as far as more live reports coming up after this break.
And continue to progressively, our coverage has gotten closer and closer to Raleigh, a more condensed area of our viewing area from where it started, but we still have to cover all the way to the coast because that circulation, that center, still has not come past us yet.
Yeah, this is a massive storm, and those rain bands, of course, are reaching all the way to the coast. Let's get to Grace Holland, who's joining us live from Ocean Isle Beach. Grace, what are you seeing?
Jeff and Renee, it has been pretty clear for a little while. So clear, in fact, that we've actually seen the sun shine through a little bit in the last hour or so. Still, we have some spots of blue sky showing, so that's really promising. I know you guys are kind of in the thick of it right now up towards Raleigh, so hopefully this is a sign of things to come. The real lasting impact in this part of the state is going to be the water that is left on the roads. We've heard a lot about that from the Brunswick County Sheriff's Office. I'm going to read off a little bit of some of the worst spots that they have mentioned. They said that Rock Creek Bridge Road is impassable, Mill Branch and Project passable, but water is in both of the lanes. And then there is a tree down in the 900 block of Royal Oak Road. And then on 74, 76, that's the highway, Old Fayetteville overpass, there is water actually in one lane of the highway. So we still are definitely seeing some of that standing water. So if you're going to be driving around Brunswick County, please be careful about that. Of course, turn around, don't drown. We also know that that impacted some people being able to get to where they needed to go. I was talking to a hotel worker who was telling me that she had to try 4 different ways to get from where she lives out in the county on the mainland over to here on Ocean Isle Beach. So definitely a big consideration that folks are dealing with. But again, hopefully with the blue skies starting to show, we'll start to see the sunshine dry things out soon. Live in Ocean Isle Beach, Grace Holland, WRAL News.
And as we know from tropical storms, we have these rain bands, and so you'll see periods of downpours, and then you'll see periods of clear skies, maybe even the sun shining through there, as we saw at Ocean Isle Beach.
Hopefully we've seen the last of it down in that area. We know we haven't up towards our area right now, especially Wilson County. So much attention all morning long, Wilson County and Springfield Middle School in Lucama, right in the middle of it.
Laura Levine is live outside the middle school right now. And Laura, you're seeing a lot of trucks and people out there surveying the damage at the school.
There's so much, a lot of things happening in this area. Behind me, you can see several crews working, utility crews working to get those down power lines back up and restore power. We could hear the generators pumping behind me with these neighbors and residents who are relying on that at this point. One neighbor told me that he has a second deep freezer that he's hoping he could get to and check on the food that's in there. But if we walk this way, you could see here down on Wiggins Mill Road, several more utility crews also working to restore power on these homes with significant damage. This is right near the school. As you can see, the damaged school, Springfield Middle School. We saw a whiteboard with words written on it. We saw damaged desks when we were able to zoom in with our camera. You could see the roof and parts of the roof just pulled away here from that tornado that touched down. It's really a devastating sight to see. I've been able to speak with the people out here. I spoke with Seth Smith. He lives across the street from where the school is located, where we're standing right now. And he was kind of just sitting in his emotions, really thinking about how close this tornado was from hitting his home. Take a listen. How does it make you feel to know that this was so close to your home?
We're blessed. That's all I know.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I see you tearing up. Why?
You know, I don't know. It's just, you know, with the house you showed, that's a cousin down there that, or family, where the house is collapsed.
Yeah.
And hopefully they can find it, you know.
Yeah, so just sitting in his emotions, thinking of how close the tornado was from hitting him, but also thinking of the home on Lloyd Road that we saw where the home did collapse, and now they're searching for the person who lives there. So a lot of people feeling the impacts from this storm, and we'll continue to keep you updated on the restoration efforts as well for the people who are out of power. Laura Levine, WRAL News, live in Wilson County.
Some of the indiscriminate movement of tornadoes. You know, why does it hit one house and not another? A school at night, nobody inside, and then it hits homes. People are sleeping in the middle of the night.
Yeah, at least 10 homes damaged there in the Lucama area, and we're waiting on word of perhaps one person trapped in a home there in Lucama as well after a house collapsed.
You've been out there for a long time watching that. It's unfortunate that that's going to be a long process, but I know they've got a lot of work to do. Let's do a quick check of what's happening right now. We currently have no tornado warnings that are in effect across the state of North Carolina. We continue to see this heavy band of rain. Looks like it's beginning to break up maybe into pieces, and that's good news. Potentially it will weaken and it will stop spinning up all these tornadoes. As we take a look at the loop, you can see we had a bunch of them right right there in the 8 o'clock hour. We'll zoom in here from Lewisburg over toward Rocky Mount and Wilson, all affected, even all the way back over toward Henderson and Oxford with that latest one. And Lewisburg hit really hard. Take a look at the rainfall in Lewisburg. I mean, it is pouring. Not that it's not pouring everywhere, but my goodness. We'll go through some of the tornadoes that we've seen so far this morning. The first one was just before 3 a.m., a confirmed tornado near Lucama, damage to Springfield Middle School and 10 homes damaged. And that's where meteorologist Amy Wilmoth is right now. They're just waiting to see if there's someone injured in that one house. And then the most recent one was at 8:18, and no injuries reported with that. Coming up in just a little bit, we're going to talk more about when all this rain should move on out.
All right, Elizabeth, thanks for that. 8:57 is the time right now. Here's the point where we jump off. But we do want to tell you we are going to continue covering Debby this morning on Fox 50 and WRAL News Plus.
We are fortunate to have other platforms where we can stay on the air with you to keep you safe. Olympic programming will start next on WRAL, but we're going to continue our tropical storm coverage of Debby over on Fox 50. Please stay safe, everybody.